You are at Lake Rant, where I rant about whatever my $10 a month plus patrons want me to rant about. You can get one of these by being one of those. This one's for Diamant, who says, rant about the episode or moment that made you realize March Comes In Like a Lion was a 10 and would be one of your all-time favorites. You know, it's hard to say. I mean, because when I was watching, if you watch my my top 10 videos of 2016, top 10 anime of 2016 rather, I had that at number 2. I had Girlish Number at number 1, and that was based on the first 11 episodes of season 1 of March Comes Like a Lion. So based on the first half of the first season, I already thought it was an amazing show. I gave it a 9. I was amped about it. I related to Kiriyama heavily. I loved the visual presentation of, like, you know, his scenes of depression and things like that. And I think it's later into season 1 where he starts training under the older dude, and there's that scene with, like, the waves crashing by, and he's, like, struggling through that. And it was just, like, all the crazy visual stuff, all the super emotive scenes. You know, it wasn't really about any one part. It was just the sheer number of them. And so, like, going into season 2, I don't know if it was so much as that there was a moment where I realized it was a 10, as so much as that there was a moment where so many amazing things had happened, or I was so deep into the story, so deep into the characters, had seen so many unique visuals, that it was kind of like, as long as this story never goes downhill, it will be riding at a 10. You know, I feel like for me, a 10 out of 10 is like the show that did the most good, in a way, and like least bad. Like, you know, let's say like Ponyo is a film that has like almost no problems, and every second of it is great. And there's like 90 minutes of it, so it's just like all great. It's just 90-minute break of great. Now, you know, The Wind Rises might not be as moment to moment absolutely great, but it has scenes that are even greater than any of the scenes in Ponyo. Would I put them on par? Would I put one above the other? They're close. They're kind of neck and neck, but they're both 10s, you know? And, like, by the time you get to a point in Sangatsu where, like, Sangatsu's a lot slower than those, you know? It's not frame by frame amazing the way a Miyazaki film is. It doesn't have insane animation. It does have, like, shot by shot, it looks really good. You know, there's tons of creativity in the framing of characters, but there is some repetition. There is, you know, sort of the nature of it being like a daily life show that goes on for quite some time. And, you know, it takes a while to set up some of the things that are going to happen, and it takes its detours. It takes its time, you know. It's not fucking pumping at 100 miles per hour all the way through the way that a Miyazaki film would be. But at some point, enough good things, enough amazing things had happened. I had enough emotional connection to the show that it was comparable to the way that I feel about something like Ponyo or something like The Wind Rises. And, you know, once you've gotten to the end of like 50 episodes and you've had so many experiences, so many emotional experiences, then it's like, shit, man, have I ever seen a show that had this much good stuff in it? Like, is the amount of good stuff packed into this show bigger than the amount of good stuff packed into Ponyo? It might be, you know? So that's why, like, it's sort of, that is the moment where it became a 10, I guess, which would probably be, I mean, like, the most memorable scene that always stands out in my mind when I think about why I like the show is the one where we learn about how Kiriyama's sort of teacher, his like his tutor, I guess, in shogi, when we learn that back in his hometown, he has this system set up where he buses all the old people into the town center so that they can play shogi together during the winter months, because otherwise they would just never leave their house. And, like, they, you know, give them supplies and then bring them back home. And it was just such a, like, I mean, obviously this probably just exists somewhere and was copied into this manga. If not, you know, maybe reimagined for the sake of it. But if this was invented whole cloth, it's just fucking genius. But, like, I just thought it was such a an interesting, thoughtful detail, really bringing this character to life in a way like I've almost never seen, especially for an older character in an anime. And it's something that only an older character would really have accomplished, not just in the sense of like having the idea, but that like the reason he had the idea is based on his experience having grown up here, you know. But like he's not like some kid genius who did 1,000 things by the time he was 18. It's like he had these ideas over time, you know, improved this community, became a part of it. Really good stuff. So I guess that would probably be my answer if I had to choose.